Today's the day. It's here. It's finally arrived after 6 years. We have the B network. We have buses. I seem to remember we had buses before Andy Burnham became mayor. But after 6 years of hard work, he's painted all the buses yellow and they launched today. Fantastic news if you use the buses. Or is it? The B network is Manchester's version of the London network. Have you been to London? The transport is better than Manchester's. But what you don't know, it's been bailed out 6 times because it was close to bankrupt. It's billions of pounds in debt. Let me say that again. London transport is billions of pounds in debt because it doesn't work. Because the fares they charge do not pay for the service and there's not enough money coming in. That's what we're risking in Greater Manchester. Andy Burnham, why has he done this? It's obvious why he's done it. This is his legacy. The Burnham buses. Bright yellow with bees on them. The Burnham buses. That's what he'll be saying when he runs for an MP again. Because that's what he's going to do. And he'll be mentioned about how he saved Greater Manchester and saved the transport up north when he runs for Prime Minister. Because that's what he wants to do. Coming here was only ever a stepping stone for his dream of being at 10 Downing Street. And he's risking our public transport. Now our transport needed improving, of course it did. And some of his ideas in the B network will be good ideas. But it's all too much too soon. It's too big a project. And if you know anything about government, you know big projects always fail. Look at HS2. We can't build anything. We can't do anything in this country anymore now because the levels of incompetence are too high. Now for this scheme to work, for the B network to work in Greater Manchester, he has to increase passenger numbers by 30% by the end of this decade. So in 7 years. That's not even 7 years now, is it? It's just over 6 years. He has to reduce passenger numbers by nearly a third. That sounds almost impossible to me. Now, when he launched this, he talked about how London Transport, their passenger numbers have grown over the last 20, 30, 40 years. But Greater Manchester, their bus use has dropped. And he talks about it as if it's a bad thing. The reason why passenger numbers on the buses in Greater Manchester have dropped, because we have cars. We have better ways of travelling. You give people a choice, believe me, they don't choose the bus. And you wouldn't choose the bus in Greater Manchester because of high levels of antisocial behaviour and crime. Why would you sit on a bus when you're afraid of being robbed? Why would you get on a tram or a bus when you think local yobs are going to get on, drunk, smoking cannabis? You can smell cannabis on almost any public transport you go on to these days. It sends a signal that this is an unsafe carriage, this is an unsafe bus. What he should have done was fix the antisocial behaviour and low-level crime first. He should have made the network something people actually wanted to go on and use. Then he should have launched the B network. That would have made more sense. But no, let's launch it now. Let's put us all into debt. Let's put up our council tax bills. Yes, you heard me right. We're paying for some of this in our council tax. You've been paying for several years now for this project. You just don't know you have, but it's in there, in the mayor's precepts at the council tax level. If and when this project fails, Andy Burnham won't be mayor anymore. He'll be in Westminster, or he would have retired. So he won't take the flak for this. But this is going to be a continual problem now, the B network. Now politics are involved in our transport system. We're going to have more strikes. We're having strikes now by the buses because they know Andy Burnham's involved. And all you've got to do to get a raise when politicians are involved is embarrass them. Stop the service, complain. And politicians go, oh, I'm up for election soon. We need this problem gone. Pay him more, pay him more. Especially Labour politicians, pay him more. That's why London Transport is in billions. It's over 10 billion in debt. That's what's going to happen here. And when our system collapses and when our system fails, who's going to pay for it? We are. We're going to pay for it through our pocket, and we're going to pay for it through a really, really poor service. Worse than we've got now. And who's going to be blamed for it? Well, I'll tell you who Andy Burnham is going to blame, because he told the Manchester Evening News. He said this project will be successful if people use it. That implies if this project fails, it's our fault for not using it. That's who they'll blame. Those stupid people. Couldn't they see I created an amazing transport system for them? They didn't want it, didn't want to use it. It's their fault for being stupid, uneducated, idiots. You can't help those sort of people. We're going to get blamed when this fails instead of the politician who created it. So when you go to vote next year for the new mayor of Greater Manchester, think of me. I'm not going to promise to make you richer. My job is to make you happier. My job isn't to mess around with these huge projects that are going to fail, that take years or decades or cost billions. I'm going to do the simple things better. I'm going to fix the system. I'm going to give you a bigger say. Vote Nick Buckley in May 2024. And the polling stations too far away, get the bus. See you soon.